as I mentioned before, it's good to go back and do a bit of a review of how they performed and where you finished as far as the end of the year. And what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at the momentum system. So we'll jump straight in there and have a look at the results there. Obviously with the momentum system, and you can see there that I've actually put down the max drawdown in this and the bounce. Now I'll explain what I mean by that. What I mean by that is that the max drawdown obviously is the peak to valley max drawdown, and the bounce is where the system was turned back on. So once it hit its max drawdown, how much money did it need to make before it got turned back on? And you can see that even though most of the systems finished the year on, there was still a couple of systems that actually turned off and finished the year off. So while they netted out a good overall profit for the entire period, there were still systems that needed to be turned off, and that's something that we always need to be cognizant of. And you can see there that on a higher account, so the momentum system is a high performance strategy. It's trading with greater frequency, so more trades, needs to be traded on a slightly higher equity base. So my opinion is that you would need to be running this on about a 20k account. And if you have a look at the drawdown now, the good thing is that we've made a couple of modifications to our momentum system, and we're actually seeing the performance or these drawdowns reduce considerably, particularly on some of the high yielding, and still maintaining the high performance but reducing the drawdown. So I'm going to go through that a little bit later on. But you can see here that gold was the most profitable of the strategies at 207%. Crude oil, now this is only trading one contract as well. Crude oil, now we've got some of the guys in the room may be trading this. I know that there's a few people who are trading the momentum MSNO2. Crude performed very well at 35. Now this is one that Yarn sent through, and this thing has absolutely been flying. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to the weekly results on this strategy, because it came in at 137%. Its max drawdown was 2602, so a higher drawdown. But have a look at the results. While everything else in this entire cluster of systems, and I'll probably get rid of the initial first couple of months, because we don't really need to worry about that. But have a look at what happened towards the end of the year. So everything is starting to kind of the performance is starting to drop off on most of the systems, particularly as you come into December. Nothing's really standing out to me. I mean, crude did pretty well in December. That produced some nice profit there, almost 4k or over 4k there. But the other standout was this system number 15. So if you come down here and look at this Euro Yen 233 tick, you'll see that in the last month or last 2 months, or actually last month, it started off badly. Like I was thinking this is going to be not a good month for the Euro Yen, but have a look at because remember the drawdown's 1300. Have a look at so it quickly almost goes off. Well, it does go off there, and then depending on what your drawdown, sorry, 2.6 is the drawdown, so it doesn't quite go off there. It gets down to $1,800 or $1,900, but then it produces a massive $10,000 in December. So where we saw that volatility on the currencies or on the Euro Yen, that's where the momentum system picked it up beautifully, because remember that the momentum system is trading almost 24 hours. So it's just looking for those breakout trades. And when it does pick up those bigger trades, because the risk to reward is so good, it's just piling on some very, very good profit. I think its average winning trade is about $800. Average losing trade is just under $200. So it's a fantastic reward to risk there. And as you can see, it's 10 to 1 on its max drawdown to equity, which is fantastic. That's what we're looking for. So we're looking 10 times our drawdown is what our goal is, and that's only for a 6 month period. So if we extrapolate that out to the 12-month period, we're well and truly up as far as our max drawdown to net profit. Now, as I mentioned before, we'll just go back to this slide here. With the momentum system, if you are looking to add that, either start with the momentum strategy or add the momentum system to your your portfolio, my recommendation is when you're looking at these systems, you should really be looking at systems with a very low drawdown to start off with, because ultimately when you're starting, if you're starting your track record or starting to put your system portfolio together, you really want to start with something that's got very, very low risk, very low drawdown, that has been performing exceptionally well, has got a good history. So for me, leaning towards the crude strategies, the trend or the momentum as a starting point, because we know that they've been very good for a long time. And then when I get to my first rate of increase, so that delta graph that I showed you, that example of the horizontal portfolio management, when you're looking to add your second system, that's when you would be looking at your table of the momentum and really getting to adding a system that's going to give your portfolio a good kick along, because obviously you've had your first rate of increase or your second rate of increase, then you're really wanting to amp up your results and leverage off the higher performance strategies that are trading with more frequency. So that's something to consider there. Now, obviously, as we come into the new year and we're starting back at our trading, some of the things that you need to look at obviously are, you know, the volume and the range of the markets that you're potentially wanting to trade, and making sure that whatever system you're looking at as part of your preferred strategy to start with, that at least the conditions are very similar to the conditions that have produced the profit on that system.